because I want to bring awareness to Lyme, and I feel like as weird as it is for me and as hard as it is to talk about for me, I just feel like if I can at least help one person that's in my shoes or has been in my shoes or can't walk or talk right now, if I can help that person, then that's all I really care about. That's why I'm doing this. And I feel like so many people are unaware when it comes to Lyme. I mean, I think over the past couple of years I've made a lot of new friends online and in person, and I believe that I've taught, you know, a, a good amount of people about Lyme and everything. But I mean, me myself, even I don't know everything. I'm just telling you what I've gone through and what I go through every single day. So that's why I'm doing this. And just know that this face, I don't look like this every single day. Like, just to put this makeup on, it's a whole nother level. I mean, people don't even know how hard it is to get up in the morning, let alone do your makeup. Like, this took me so long. I had to keep laying down in between. Like, I can't sit longer than 10 minutes because of my spine. So I might have to stop this and get up and walk around. I also might just make this like a part 1 and a part 2 video because there is 13 questions here and I don't want to make this super super long, and I'm also going to edit this and I have no idea how I'm going to do that. I've never done this before, so I might answer like 6 questions now and then do a part 2 and answer the last 6 then. I don't know. We'll see. That's another thing with Lyme. You never know. Like, you have to take how you're feeling minute by minute, second by second, because how I feel right now can change like that. So let's get into it. I said that I was gonna say the initials of the people that have asked me questions, and to be honest, I don't remember everyone that's asked me these questions, so I'm not going to do that, but I can tag you in the video if you want. Not sure if that's a thing, but so the first question I got, do you know the moment you got Lyme or have an idea of it? I do have an idea of it. The thing with Lyme is it's not only transmitted by ticks, it's transmitted by flies, spiders, species of mosquitoes, sand fleas. It's congenital, so I mean, there's a lot of factors when it comes to Lyme. It's not just you get a tick bite and oh, you have a bullseye rash. No, that's not how it works. I don't even remember having a bullseye rash. I didn't get a bullseye rash. The only time I look back and I think of the moment I got Lyme is when I was down on the coast and I was going into grade 10, so I think I was 15 at the time. Pretty young, all full of life and full of spunk and full of piss and vinegar. But I mean, I've kind of had health problems my whole life, so it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment. But the year I was going into grade 10 is when like a lot of my health issues started, so this is why I say I believe it's when I got bit, was that summer. So that summer I actually got bit 2 times, and I thought they were both spider bites because I reacted the same way. I got bit on my inner thigh, and it wasn't a tick. I got bit on my inner thigh, and the one time I was at Bible camp, so this was when I got back from the coast, but when I was at Bible camp, I got bit, and it was a spider bite. Like, you could see the little, like, the 2 little marks, and it was in my inner thigh. So, like, my thigh swelled up so much. It was so itchy. It looked like there was a little watermelon in my pants. Like, it was so weird. It was super uncomfortable. It was itchy. I didn't really think anything of it, though, because I just thought it was a spider bite, and I was kind of grossed out. I was like, ugh, there's a spider in my bunk. Like, I don't know. And then there's this other time, which was a few weeks before that, when I was in Seashell, down on the coast of Vancouver. Um, that's in British Columbia. I'm in Canada, and most people know that, but I don't know how many people are going to be watching this, so yeah, I'm in Canada. But I believe I got bit down on the coast, which is near Vancouver, and ticks and Lyme are actually, it's an epidemic everywhere, but down on the coast and near the Okanagan is where ticks thrive because it's so hot and dry, or it's hot and humid. Like, they love that weather. They love that shit. So down on the coast, I was walking through like very, very tall grass. Like, this is like grass as tall as me, okay? So I was walking through this grass with my friends, and I remember like feeling like this weird sting, and again, it was on my leg, the same leg. It was on my, I think it was on my hip. It was near my hip, and I was like, ow. And I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was a bug bite, and I kept walking. And then later that night, when I went to bed, I was swelling up, and there was no marks. It was just super super red and swollen, and it hurt. So I was like, damn those spiders, you know? That's just what I thought. So I think that's the moment I trace back to me getting Lyme. That was question number 1. Second question, what is the hardest part of having this disease? Oh my god. Everything. Like, your whole life changes. I mean, like I said, just putting on makeup, getting out of bed in the morning is like the hardest thing. So if I can get out of bed in the morning, I give myself a fucking gold star. And I'm going to try really hard not to swear in this video because I'm going to be putting it up on YouTube, but everything, I mean, your whole life changes. If you know me before I got sick, like, you knew who I was. Everybody knew I was just like this spazzy, loudmouth Jenna. Like, I was just Jenna. That's it. Like, I had no care in the world. I was worried about nothing. I was in dance. I had a part-time job working at A&W. I went to school. Like, I was always busy. I did not ever know how to stop. I did not ever know how to quit or sit down. Like, resting, can't relate. Didn't know what the hell that was. I never did that, and I never wanted to. Why would I want to? Like, I was so happy. I was happy-go-lucky. Like, I was the type of person, like, if one of my friends were having a bad day, I would cheer you up. Even if I was having a shitty day myself, I would make myself feel better by making other people happy. And now it's like I have to be kind of selfish, and I have to think about myself and put myself first. Otherwise, I go downhill super quick. I mean, the hardest part about having this disease is literally everything. Everything. Like, I've been struggling with Lyme for the past almost 8 years. And for 5 of those years, I couldn't walk or talk, okay? So, at the end of grade 11 is when I stopped going to school. It was second semester, and that's when I was like finishing a huge play in drama. I had like one of the lead roles. I was also in dance. I was working at A&W. Like, I was wearing myself out so hardcore. I just would not stop. And I got sick, and I thought it was tonsillitis. So that's kind of when it started. Like I said, the hardest part of having this disease is everything. You have to change your whole entire life. It's struggling every single day, financially struggling, mentally, physically. You're in pain. I mean, there's nothing easy about being in pain every single day. So that's my answer. So third question, asking for the purpose of awareness. Can you share what the average day looks like for you? This is so important for people to see the literal day-to-day battle if they don't perceive there to be one. I remember, of course, that was Allie who said that. Yes, hello. This is my kitty. She's so photogenic, am I right? Anyways, so yeah, Allie asked me that. I remember her asking me that because she obviously understands everything about me. She's one of the very few friends that has actually stuck beside my side this whole entire time. So I just remembered that because she asked me. So basically, Jasper, no. She's trying to wreck my camera. So, for me to share the average day, I mean, I thought of this question for a while, and I was like, oh, I'll just take a picture of my calendar. But no, like, that wouldn't even still show you guys. I mean, I have so many appointments, always, and currently I am not receiving treatment for Lyme. I can't afford it. So I do what I can, with alternative therapies, I guess is what I could call it. But right now, I'm not receiving treatment for Lyme. Otherwise, every day I would be self-injecting myself with antibiotics at least 3 times a day, which is incredibly painful. But for the purpose of awareness, I'm going to tell you what it was like getting Lyme treatment. First of all, Jasper, if you jump up there, you're going to wreck my whole entire video. So, basically, my treatment for Lyme was, okay, so I'm sharing the average day for me when I receive Lyme treatment. This is how it goes. I get up in the morning, and Jasper, I swear to God, I get up in the morning assuming that I've had a really shitty sleep because I'm in pain, and when you receive Lyme treatment, it doesn't matter what it is. What happens is you get a Herx response, and that's the die-off of all of the bacteria inside of you. So that's basically like all of your symptoms and pain amplified times 100. How I describe it is, how I describe every day is like having the flu and a hangover times 100 and being in pain. So just imagine that, but then going through like treatment and having antibiotics like that amplifies it even more. It's the worst thing ever. Anybody with Lyme can probably relate to what I'm talking about, but yeah, so I get up in the morning. As soon as I get up, I would do my first needle, which is antibiotics. And, if I could afford it, I would be getting hooked up to an IV in a different city, but that's literally $2,000 per week, and I don't know anybody that could afford that, let alone me. So I would inject myself intramuscularly. Yeah, and it's really painful because it goes into your muscle. The medication gets injected into your muscle. My Lyme doctor actually would give me numbing solution, so it wouldn't hurt as much, but it still would hurt. So then I would do needles. I'm just trying to spend the whole day. Like, I really don't know how to answer this question because it's just like you're trying all day, you're just trying to get through the day. Like, that's how I can describe it. I'm just trying to get through the day. I'm just taking it second by second. And then I would probably go see my doctor. And honestly, this question is so hard for me to answer. Like, the day-to-day struggle, like, just imagine having the flu and the hangover times 100. I think that sums it up pretty well. For people that don't know or don't understand that, I don't think there's anything I can really say to make you understand it if you're not going to at this point. But let me just tell you, I don't think there's anybody in this world that deserves to have Lyme disease or go through what I go through and have been through. That's all I'm going to say. Number 4. Does the weather affect the way you feel? Oh my god, yeah. I know that's like a huge thing for people with Lyme, but for real. Just for example, like if it's super hot and dry out, because here it's not humid, it's just dry all the time. Even in the winter, it doesn't matter if it's freezing and dry or if it's hot and dry. Oh my god, like, so heat and like going in saunas or having baths, that's like a detox method for people with Lyme disease. So going out in the heat, you're going to experience a Herx reaction, which is the die-off of all of your bacteria. So me going out into the heat kills off Lyme bacteria, which is a good thing, but it's known to give people with Lyme heart attacks, seizures. Like, I know quite a few people in the Lyme community in the States that have passed away simply because of detox and Herx. So there's that. I can't stand the heat. Like, I can't. I love warm weather. If it's anything past like plus 20 Celsius, I can't handle it very well. It's just like, it just feels like I'm slowly dying. And if it's really cold and dry out, it doesn't really affect me symptom-wise, aside from me being miserable and hating the cold weather. But for my osteoarthritis and my spine and my degenerative disc disease and blah, 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 that affects all of that pain-wise. Let's see. If I was in a place that was like super hot and humid, that would affect me too, because any warm weather, any humid weather, that's going to affect all of your symptoms. Pretty huge. So yes, my answer is yes. Long story short. Number 5, full list of symptoms. I don't even know if I can do that. And I also don't know if that's like my symptoms list now or years ago when I couldn't walk or talk. So I'll try to do both, okay? So when I first got sick, I had the worst headaches ever. I still do. They're not as bad, but they were horrible. Like, I would keep getting diagnosed with migraines because doctors didn't know. Like, at one point they were like, oh, you have brain cancer, because that's how bad my headaches were. But no, it wasn't brain cancer. So yeah, it started off with really, really sore throat, really bad headache. I was getting a lot of sinus symptoms, like everything like that. It just felt like I had a sinus infection and tonsillitis all at the same time. also the dizziness and the nausea constantly. Like my nausea never goes away. Like I've tried cancer medications for like cancer anti-nausea medications that don't even help. The only thing that helps my nausea is vaping weed or having CBD oil. It's literally, I call it, it dissolves my nausea. It's the only thing that helps for that. And then of course, like the dizziness, I like when I say I couldn't walk or talk physically, like because of my spine and because of my brain function, I could not walk because I was in so much pain. And because of my brain function, it was like I almost forgot how to walk. And then, yeah, like I would be so dizzy all the time, and that's gotten a lot better now, thankfully, but there are days where I get like really bad vertigo spells and I can't get up and I just have to lay in bed. And I've dealt with that ever since I was a little kid though. Like there would be times where I would miss months of school when I was little because I would have these vertigo spells and no doctor didn't really know how to deal with it. Like they just thought it was a psychological thing or whatever. Um, Symptoms, shit. I always have noise in my ears. Constantly it feels like there's a thunderstorm in my head. Like it's just like and I would always say this to doctors, it feels like there's washing machines in my brain and they would never understand what I meant, but it's just like it's like a thunderstorm inside my head and it's constantly like woo, 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 woo. And that's why I also wear earplugs a lot of the time because of that and to drown out the noise. And another huge symptom of mine is sound sensitivity and light sensitivity. Like if I was sitting in the window with the sun, I would have to wear glasses right now, sunglasses. Like I lived in sunglasses for the longest time because of that. Noise sensitivity, like my parents couldn't even rustle like a garbage bag without me feeling like I was gonna go crazy. Like it hurt my head. That it would hurt my head. Like the smallest sounds, like can openers or flushing the toilet, like any little thing like that made me feel like I was gonna go crazy because it hurt so bad. Um, and then let's see, there's the crippling pain, spine, neck pain, head pain, brain pain, depression, anxiety, migraines, sinus infections. I don't know if I said sore throat already. Neck pain, shoulder pain, tailbone pain. Like you're just in pain. It's just miserable. I don't know. Like I can't tell you my full list of symptoms. I just can't. Just imagine that you're hungover and you have the flu and you amplify that times 100 and then you get hit by a bus and then you get thrown in like a huge adult size washing machine. So just think of that. Although it's not so pleasant, but that's how I felt and that's how I feel. So number 6, what is it like dating and having to tell the person you're dating that you have Lyme? Well, so I mean, I'm obviously in a relationship right now. I can't even imagine like dating regularly just because there's so many assholes. There's so many guys that are jerks. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. But I know that when I was going through treatments and I was starting to get a little, like I was starting to get better and I was trying to do things more, like that's when I met Chase. And I went out to get sandwiches from Subway with my niece. Back then, like me being able to drive to go get sandwiches for my niece and me was like a huge deal. It still is, but it was a huge deal. So if I went out, it was like, oh my god, like I was able to go out for like 10 minutes and it was a huge deal. So anyways, I was a little off topic there, but when I met Chase, we, like, obviously we met and instantly it was just like a spark, but deep down I was like, why, like, how is this even gonna work? It's not gonna work. What do I tell him? Like, how am I even gonna, I just had so many questions, and I even told him, I was like, I really like you, but I don't think you're gonna want to, like, date me or have anything to do with me because of my health problems. And fast forward like a few years, I mean, when I first got sick, I was also in a relationship, like a high school relationship, and that obviously ended pretty fast. But like the when I was sick, like I would get random guys like from Prince George or Burns Lake, or just like sometimes they didn't live here, or like Houston or Smithers. I would get guys that messaged me, of course, because they would just see like my profile picture and be like, oh, you're cute. And I'd be like, ooh, thanks. And I like wouldn't really want to talk to them. I didn't know how, but there was a few times after my relationship ended, like when I was in high school when I first got sick. I can't even tell you, I think there was like 4 guys that were texting me, not all at once. I'm just saying there was 4 guys in this period of time that like I couldn't even talk to normally because they would they would just think that I was like a regular girl, and I'm like, yo, I can't even, like, we can't date, like, what are you doing? And then they would just keep like texting me back and forth, and it was super confusing for me, and I never knew how to deal with it. But anytime I would open up to someone and be like, okay, like I have lots of health problems, there's a lot I can't do, anytime I would do that, boom, they would disappear. They would stop talking to me. They would like almost ghost me, or they would pretend like we didn't talk in the first place. And like, keep in mind that this was just strictly texting. Like, I never seen any of these guys in real life. Like, I didn't even, well, there's a couple of them that I'd never met before, but I knew through like other friends. And yeah, like they would just stop talking to me. So after that I was like, done. Like, nope. The only guys that I would allow myself to even be like, ooh, he's cute, is celebrities, because I just wasn't gonna, like, I couldn't, how could I even date or try to think about dating when I couldn't even walk or talk or get myself dressed? Like, it didn't even cross my mind. So when I started to get better and I started to do things and I met Chase, I told him like immediately. I remember when we were texting, I was in my doctor's office getting my Lyme treatment, and I was just pretending like I was a regular girl. I was like, ooh, we're texting. And I would just pretend. And of course he would be like, so what's the deal? And he would ask me like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Because he knew just from like word around town. He just knew. He knew that I wasn't a regular person. And he even says, when we first started talking, I was the girl with no problems, because that's just how I wanted to make it seem. Like, as I was sitting there getting 10 needles in my arm and an IV hooked up to my arm, I would be pretending and texting him. So, once I opened up to him about it, I was like, I don't expect you to want to talk to me. I don't expect you to continue talking to me. I mean, I really like you, but why would you want to get involved with me? Like, I'm just a nuisance, I'm a burden, and that's just how I felt. So to tell someone that, like, that you develop feelings for is super hard. So imagine you finally opening up to that person and then they just stop talking to you. It's horrible. And I know that probably happens to a lot of people with Lyme, or just health problems in general. But I will never forget when I told Chase I said that through text. And he responded within like 10 minutes. And there's a truck going by, hold on. I said, I have late stage Lyme disease. I mean, I have degenerative disc disease. There's a lot of things I can't do. Like, if we were to ever hang out, we would just have to be friends. I mean, like, I really like you, but I can't, how am I supposed to be in a relationship? I just didn't know. And I remember he said, well, my mom has spine problems and degenerative disc disease, and I just researched Lyme disease, so you don't have to worry about that. Like, I I don't relate to what you're going through, but I can be understanding of it. And like, my heart melted, and I was like, "Boop." The rest is history. Very complicated history, but yeah, to tell someone that, it's so hard. And I can't even imagine being like out in the world and like dating people and having to tell them that. Like, it just gives me anxiety thinking about it. It would be so hard, especially because guys are such assholes. And I can't even imagine what that would be like. So, in the sense of one thing at least, I am lucky that way. I'm lucky to have an understanding guy. We've been together almost 3 years now, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's really hard. We've gone through like stuff that married couples don't even go through in their lifetime. So I think that's special. And it's not easy for either of us, but love is love. What can I say? Number 7, is it Lyme or limes? It's Lyme. I mean, lots of people in the Lyme community get kind of butthurt when people call it, oh, is it limes? Or they spell it like L-I-M-E instead of L-Y-M-E. That doesn't really bug me, because people lots of people don't know about it. How are people supposed to know how to say or spell it if it's never talked about, you know? So that doesn't bug me, but it's Lyme. It's Lyme disease. No S, no I, it's a Y. um, Number 8, what can you do slash use to prevent Lyme? Well, I mean, when you're going outside for hikes and stuff, always wear DEET. And I say that to protect yourself from mosquitoes, flies, because ticks aren't the only thing that transmit Lyme. Like, there's tick-borne illnesses like Rocky Mountain fever, Lyme disease, Bartonella, Babesia. All of those are transmitted from ticks. But ticks aren't the only little disgusting creatures that carry it, okay? So always wear DEET-based mosquito repellent. Always tuck your pants into your socks if you go outside. When you come back from outside, like, check yourself everywhere, check your clothes, throw your clothes in the dryer if you want, just to kill whatever, possibly, like, I'm super paranoid that way. And even if we're going for a small walk, whoever I'm with, I'm like, yo, don't go under that tree. There might be ticks in there. Like, I'm just super paranoid about it. There's lots of things you can do to prevent Lyme, but at the same time, you can't, because you can get it in so many ways. Another one of my symptoms is that I can't talk for very long, so this is really, really difficult. My throat is super sore. So I just thought I'd mention that because I'm talking a little bit quieter now. Number 9, are you able to have children? If so, how would they be affected? So Lyme is congenital, and I know of so many people, women, and I know of so many people through documentaries that have chosen to have children. And for me, like, no, I choose not to have kids just because of what I've seen and what I know. And just me personally, like, do I want to be a mom? Yeah. But do I want to put another human being through what I've gone through possibly? Absolutely not. I feel like I would be selfish if I brought a kid into the world and I couldn't even take care of this kid. Like, how would I can't carry a child because of my spine. And I wouldn't be able to have regular childbirth. I would have to have a C-section. And then after the birth, I wouldn't even be able to pick up my own kid or play with my own kid. So I just feel like I would be selfish if I ever had kids. And I'm not saying that people or women with Lyme are selfish because they have kids, because most of the time they don't even know they have Lyme, and then they have kids and they get symptoms, and then their kids get symptoms, and it's just a horrible mess. So Lyme is congenital, and yeah, I choose not to have kids just because of it. I mean, for now, I'm 24, so maybe in the future when I get into remission and I'm like feeling better and it's like an option, maybe. But for now, my pets are my children. So, yeah, the thought of putting an innocent life through what I've gone through makes me even more sick. I would never want to do that, ever. Nope. Sure wouldn't. That would be horrible. Number 10, how does Lyme affect a person? Well, I mean, like, your whole life changes. You can't do the things that you once loved. You have to, it's like flipping your life upside down and you have no choice. So, basically, just imagine one day that you got the flu and you felt like shit, you couldn't get out of bed and you were in so much pain, like you just had body aches and chills and headache. And just imagine that and never having it go away, ever. That's what it feels like. That's how it affects a person. The bacteria of Lyme, the co-infections of Lyme. Personally, I have late-stage Lyme. I have Babesia and Bartonella co-infections that I know of. I know I could have a million more, but I almost choose not to find out if I do, because it's just like, okay, I know that. It's just going to drive me crazy now. But, yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying.